Hero Club presents Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. Welcome to Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, episode 70. I'm your host and co-creator, Wheelchair21, and tonight is going to be a very interesting episode for our 70th episode, because we're going to be talking about pretty much all of the Ryusoulger news, as well as we're going to be talking about the recent trailer for Godzilla King of the Monsters. That's going to be starting off our show, but before we can just jump right into the news, let's introduce our panel and hosts for the night. Well, first you got me, and you got none other than Sound at Frickin' 12.
Shoulda had a female Black Ranger.
And we also have the return of the original, in quotation, sixth member, even though he was the third member of the podcast, Janitor Joker.
I was just working on important things. Maybe you watched the Video Game Awards.
Let's be honest, Harley Quinn killed you.
No, I was working with some guy named Sakurai, and basically doing the mocap for Smash Brothers. A little game no one's ever heard of, probably.
Colors weave into a fireplace.
What the fuck are you singing?
Smash Brothers Ultimate theme? Where have you been?
What the fuck is Smash Brothers?
You should really learn about what you're in better.
Oh God.
Seeing that we have both the Michaels here, that means there's a Mike and Mike in the morning to follow eventually in the near future. But
we don't kill each other first.
Yeah, but nevertheless, though, while we have three of the four main hosts of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu, we also have our occasional guest host here. It's not Alex, unfortunately, but it is the other second best known guest host and guest, I guess, just, analyst, Darkon633.
Man, the new Kamen Rider series looks great. I mean, Zio sounds awesome.
Yeah,
this is where Darkon dies.
You know what's the sad part? Is the last time he was on this show, it was talking about Zio.
I don't know what this Kamen Rider is, but it sounds familiar.
It did look awesome back then, we gotta say that much.
It looked awesome, but then it became what Mucha likes best, shitpost.
And that's why I hate it.
Everybody hates it.
A lot of people hate it.
Supersonic racing, gotta keep your feet right on the ground.
It's the Sonic 06 of Kamen Rider series.
I don't know the Sonic.
That's Ghost.
No. Ghost actually has merit to it.
He's got a point at this point. It has more merit than
the first
Zio.
10 episodes, then after that, what merit? There's literally nothing.
What does Zio have after 10 episodes?
Zio has 15 episodes of nothing, so it's almost worse.
Oh, God.
Actually, it is worse. I don't know.
All right, then. So for tonight's...
Every one of our podcasts today just going to get derailed.
No. Every podcast always starts with us derailing it and then getting back on course. That's usually how it happens.
Yeah.
Except last week when we actually were on course.
For once.
Why that?
It's because our troublemakers weren't here. Gills really just shouldn't let us keep talking, and we should be reined in every once in a while.
No, our power is too strong.
Anyways, let's move on with the show. Alright, the second Godzilla King of the Monsters trailer dropped frickin' today, and it actually was fairly good. We got to see all four kaiju, we got to see some bit of the battles going on, and we also got teasers for other monsters appearing in the film. Since San Diego Comic-Con mentioned, there's not just four, there's more. So I'm going to open the floor up to, I guess I'll say Mucha first, since that's the one thing that brought him out of the woodwork today, and then we'll go over to Darkon. So, Mucho, your thoughts on Godzilla Trailer 2?
Oh, I have so many thoughts. Let me start with point one.
All I hear is static.
Yeah. Because I'm making a face, and I know that no one can
No, I mean,
faces.
there's actual weird static happening again. I don't know if your mic's acting up again.
So that trailer, though. Meh. I don't know really what else to say. I'm not really impressed, but I'm not really angry. I'm just kind of disappointed, because it's just showing us stuff that I kind of expected that was going to be shown in the second trailer. So it didn't really shock me or make me really amped up to see the movie. It just showed me stuff that I already kind of seen before. And I'm not really all that excited, because as we all know, Godzilla is a titan, and he played football with Denzel Washington in Virginia.
And we remember them.
And we remember them very well until he got into his car accident, which crippled him and got him killed for like 7 years later or something.
Just like Will.
Then for some reason,
I
Rodan.
didn't play football or get killed in a crash.
No, we got bleached. There's a different story behind that. Different story. Yeah, it's the same feeling I got when I watched the trailers for the 2014 movie. Honestly, kind of like, oh, this is how Hollywood's going to approach the marketing of this movie. Nothing that really wows me. Nothing that really impresses me. Just safe, marketable presentation.
I think the 2014 movie was better than its trailers.
That's fair. Because the trailers lied about what the 2014 movie was about. So
it was a good misdirection, is what I like to call it, instead of just outright lies. But it was outright lies.
I call it a wrong turn in Albuquerque.
Hey, I live there.
That's why I said it.
Are you calling me a wrong turn?
I'm calling you a hillbilly.
Oh.
With 3 fingers. That got mutated by ooze or something.
Huh.
All right, so Darkon, your take on the whole King of the Monsters trailer.
First of all, I didn't know there was other Godzilla movies. I thought the only Godzilla movie that existed was the 98 one.
Okay, where?
Second, wow, this movie's going to be great. I mean, Kamunga's there. We have Rodan. We have a 5-headed Ghidorah. Did I see the right trailer?
I think you added more heads to Ghidorah.
No, I actually like this trailer so far. Not so much as Mucha, but I did actually like what I saw. Seeing as I actually have not seen nearly as many Godzilla movies as pretty much a ton of people here, but I still actually enjoyed what was in the trailer. Obviously, we're actually going to get more monster bites, unlike that first movie, which was like, oh, monster bite, bam, okay, what's next? Monster bite, oh yeah, bam, okay, what's next? Okay, now door, okay, what now?
It's funny if that movie actually does the same shit. Like, it promises all this hype shit, and then it's like, no, same deal.
And still better than Shin Godzilla, though.
Nah.
No, it is way better than Shin Godzilla.
Nah, get out.
But no,
the inheritance is over.
What's a Shin Godzilla?
It's a good movie, unlike the stuff that you guys like.
This episode's gonna be like the visual history of Mucha protecting Shin Godzilla.
I'm not protecting Shin Godzilla. It doesn't need to defend itself. It's a good movie. That's all I need to say.
But other than that, there really is not much else to say. I mean, it is pretty much what it is. It is a Godzilla film. I mean, what else can you really say without actually watching it? I mean, there's not really much to say after that. It's good.
You can talk about the monster designs.
We kind of talked about those when they revealed the monster arts.
Listen, man, Rodan.
We could see them better with the monster arts than we could in the trailer. Yeah, that's another thing.
What can we really say? Most of it is in fog. You can barely see the monsters. The most you can see really is Mothra, really, than any of the others. There's really much to say.
That was Muto, right? That was a Muto, right?
I mean, yeah, I guess there is a Muto. I don't understand that. I thought they eliminated them all in the last movie, but
it's a flying Muto that looks awfully white. Perhaps it's a supremacist of some sort.
I think it's just the Age 2 white version that just suddenly showed up and was like, yo, heard you got some monsters. Think you could use a little Gundam?
Of course, it could have been like the brother or sister just appeared. It's like, so what's going on? We have to fight a monster. Where is everybody?
Where are all the white?
It was just really late. It's like, where is everybody?
He just shows up. He's like, oh, they're all dead.
All right, so sound out your take on the trailer.
First trailer was better for sure. I mean, second trailer, like, we got to see the monsters a bit more, but again, we just saw them as monster arts, so it's like, like I was like, I already seen them, so like it wasn't what I was going for here. It looks solid in terms of being consistent with everything. I don't have the wow factor from Kong Skull Island, so there's that. But I don't know. I think I definitely enjoyed the first trailer more because with the music and the visuals and the atmosphere there, I thought that was like a really like kind of like building up like this big thing is happening. Whereas with the second trailer, I thought there was less atmosphere and it was kind of a little bit more lifeless. And it was just like, yep, monsters are attacking the city.
No, they're not monsters. They're titans, you fool. Get it right.
They're just afraid to use the word kaiju because Pacific Rim probably copyrighted that or something. Who knows?
No, they're clearly miracles.
They're miracle sky power.
Yeah, no, but here's the thing I was going to say is, like, the one thing about this trailer, though, that I think really did F it up was the fact that the monster arts were revealed before this trailer dropped because the trailer got delayed. And I feel like if the monster arts came out after this trailer, the hype would be a little bit more...
Oh, totally, because this would be our first look at these other monsters, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, here's another thing that you need to realize. Regardless of what we think of the monsters, most people aren't going to go to the online. It's like, okay, I'm going to see what the Godzilla monsters look like from toys. Most people are most likely not just going to, we're going to look up everything on a toy, everything. Only really the collectors are going to look at that. The casuals are going to look at the movie. This is probably like their second experience if they watch the first one.
This is very true.
Like, it's true and it's not. Like, the ones who care about it will have been like, this wasn't as wowing. I think one of the things I was also half expecting in this trailer was the recomposed Akira Ifukube music, since we heard it at the, Tokyo Comic-Con panel.
I don't think enough of it's done yet. Like, this trailer's music was probably already locked in by the time... By the time they were doing this, I think the trailer music was already locked in. They were just waiting on visual effects to be done.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I'm kind of wondering about, because I feel like that's, like, hopefully when we get the third and final trailer, more of that significant recomposed score will be in there. There'll be more of the allure of what other kaiju are there, because I'm hoping that the other kaiju that were either teased at and we already know are probably there aren't leaked before we actually get that trailer, because I would like to actually know who or what's in it. I don't want the full... I kind of don't want the full kaiju sheet revealed, but I do want to, like, be like, oh crap, like a wow factor of watching, like, a future trailer show, oh shit, that thing under the ground wasn't Baragon, it wasn't Anguirus.
It was Gogeta Blue.
It was Varan.
And if we line up my theory with Kong Skull Island, we can rule out Kumonga showing up.
Why would you say that?
Because my theory was that in Kong Skull Island, giant spider monster that was killing soldiers that they managed to kill, that was Kumonga.
But it wasn't.
It wasn't, but I just put that as, like, it's either... I basically boiled it down to it's either Kumonga or it's, like, the same species as Kumonga, and that it's basically, it's like a native of Skull Island is what creates Kumonga.
Maybe, who knows? All I know is that, like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, what's going to happen now, especially since they're really trying to play up, like, as Mucha says, this whole Titan aspect. So it's like they're trying to build off, oh yeah, ancient civilizations and that believe these things to be gods, so they're
ancient spirits of evil.
No, no Mumra.
Or
like,
it could be.
Like, all I know is, like, it's just weird.
This is all Gamera, isn't it? This is all just Gamera.
Plot twist. At the end of King of the Monsters, Gamera just shows up and is just roaring, and everyone's like, the fuck are you doing here?
The fuck's the turtle doing here?
No. Rodan and Godzilla stop while they're trying to fight Ghidorah. Yo, is he with you? I thought he was with you. And then, like, Gamera's music plays, but it's, like, done in a, like, Zimmerous way, and you just hear, like, violins and cellos.
Sounds like Wonder Woman.
Exactly. You just hear, like...
He's actually dressed like Wonder Woman for some reason.
I do legitimately think that the stinger for this movie... will most likely be Kong showing up. I think we can safely assume that's going to happen.
Oh yeah, the Stinger's going to be hyping up, the Battle of Death.
God, I'm more excited for that movie than I am this one, I think.
Like, no, here's the thing, is I am more excited for that film, I feel like, but at the same time, I've been waiting for, like, this film since it was first, like, leaked to us, you know what I'm saying? It's like, when I first
like, when they
that,
announced it was like, yeah, next movie has, like, everybody, and it's like, okay.
Well, no,
everyone,
like, yeah, it's like
for that one person.
Like, that's the thing, is, like, when it was first revealed that it was just going to be the Great Four, I was like, wow, I wish there was more build-up between this one and the Great Four. But then I'm like, oh no, the Great Four are going to be there, and the others too, because Toho is going to be like, no, we're revoking the license back over here, and we're going to do it better.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to make our own monster verse with hookers and blackjack.
Wait, this isn't
Kyoko and Patterson.
I just want to see Kong again, because I really like Skull Island Kong a lot.
I think Skull Island Kong is like the embodiment of what everyone wants Kong to be, which is just, a badass version of the Rankin Bass, King Kong Escapes film.
Yeah, and he's also giant-sized. Giant-sized.
He's no 25-meter gorilla.
he's Goji-sized. I like it.
He's also friends with Roseanne Barr's husband in that one show. What was it ever called? Roseanne or something.
He's he's now friends with Loki and Captain Marvel.
Yeah, Marvel.
Oh yeah, that's true.
But he hates Nick Fury. But he has an issue with Nick Fury.
Well, we all know why.
I mean, Nick Fury was pissed
versus
at
the Marvel Universe.
I think no Oga, who is not here but in spirit he is, knows what I'm talking about.
It just went down a dark path that I cannot follow.
Black on black crime.
Oh, Mucha.
This is hot, Mucha.
Sound out got where I went. This is going down a path I cannot follow. Prequel memes for the win.
Always.
He must stand trial, though.
I am the Senate.
And we derailed. Anyways, let's take that derailment to
Wait,
Toei's.
that was a derailment, but isn't that like our lives?
Maybe I don't
You
know.
already talked about like democracy dying with thunderous applause.
True.
Yeah.
True. So with that derailment, let's go to another derailment with Toei, because you remember that thing called Ryusoulger where it was allegedly thought to be Dragon Knights, but then they were like,
Kishiryu
yeah.
Ryusouger has so much use of the word Ryu that I was really really hoping for Dragon Knights.
Yeah, like the whole emphasis on Dragon Knight was like the cool idea, but then they were like, no, we're gonna do Dino Knights because wham bam, it's the Dino Jam with Kishiryu Sentai Ryusouger.
I wanted Dragon Knights, but at least they're still knights.
Yeah, at least they're still knights, which I do
It's
like
the
the
Garo
knight.
Sentai.
I
do.
don't think they could get rights with Pokemon though. I think that was the issue.
I was gonna say the joke is though, like I think I do like the fact that like from the designs, like at least the helmets and like a bit of their weird armaments, they do look very knightish. But the big problem is let's start with some facts before we get into the overall characters and designs of the suits. Let's think about this. Between Zyuranger and Abaranger, it was nearly a decade. Abaranger to Koryuger, nearly another decade. Koryuger to Ryusoulger, it's only been like 6 to 8 years. It's like too short of a time. It's
6
been
years.
Yeah, 6 years. It's been a short ass amount of time between them.
And let's not forget that we've had enough movies and Korean spin-offs to fill every single year. Oh, and Power Rangers adaptations. We've had a Dino themed Sentai thing for like every year since Kyoryuger.
And on top of that, the main 5 consist of a red, a blue, a pink, a green, and a black. And it's really offsetting in that degree.
And it's four males and a female.
Exactly. So it's
for
the
me.
Same ratio.
Colors are one thing, but gender ratio is it's that same terrible.
Okay,
Kyoryuger
why are we
ratio.
guys talking about Kyoryuger? I thought this was about Ryusoulger.
Yeah, because Ryusoulger is literally the same colors.
Ranger version 3.
The same
No, it's actually version. Yeah, it is version 3. Or is it version 4?
I mean, we don't count Power Rangers because that doesn't exist.
I was talking about the time they were an RPG group.
That was technically an episode of Kyoryuger that was just produced 5 years later.
But it is a version of them.
It's not a different version, though.
But as we know, there will be Ryuso Red, Ryuso Blue, Ryuso Black, Ryuso Green, and Ryuso Pink, like we were saying. The Ryusoulgers, though, they'll be transforming with the Ryuso Changer, and they'll have the weapon called the Ryuso Ken, or Ryuso Sword. The thing about this is they run off of a gimmick that is a mix-up between the Judenchi, the Ranger Key, and, like, the Aba Ranger's faceplate gimmicks with, like, the actual Bakuryu. And the gimmick is like the keys turn into like the heads of like the dinosaurs from what it seems to be, and then you plug it into the henshin device to create the full like face and mouth. And then when they're not, in the head form, they look like little miniature Dino Knights that you store in the buckle, similar to obviously the Judenchi or Kyutama. So that's a weird gimmick. And then we have finally the actual Ryukishi gimmick, where ironically enough, Red actually has a standalone mecha. Pretty much his dinosaur, which is supposed to be a T-Rex, even though it looks kind of like a Spinosaurus, it actually is able to become its own mecha. Like, it goes from T-Rex to fighter mode. The fighter mode looks like an actual little cool knight, but the problem about it is the aesthetic of the mecha uses, like, a building block surface and connection joints, like a Zord builder system that looks like a mix of Lego/Creo, if I recall. Is it Creo? Yeah? Or
Creo.
Yeah, Creo and Duplo
That hasn't
and all
been
that
around
stuff.
in years, but yeah.
And the mecha, like, then combines with the other parts to form armaments like, say, Koryuger and other stuff. Now, the interesting thing, though, is since the armaments uses the Lego joints, they don't actually, like, replace limbs entirely. They just stack onto the mecha. When you put pink and blue on, he becomes Kishiryu 3 Knights. However, then when you start adding on, say, green's Tiger or actually black's Mill Needle, they start forming like armaments on top of armaments, like, becoming weapons for the arms and a new torso, and then it just takes on the name of that specific mecha. For green, it becomes Kishiryu Tiger Lance, and then with black, it becomes Kishiryu Mill Needle. And that's practically all we got in the first toy catalog, was our vinyls, our basic weapons, the actual like sets of Ryu Souls, the belt, and our main 5 mecha, which honestly, like I said, design-wise, it looks cool. The problem is it's just disappointing that we're getting a Dinosaur Sentai so shortly after Koryuger and somewhat emulating it. So I guess we'll start with Mucha again, real fast.
Are you sure?
Thoughts? Yeah.
Are you sure you want to do this?
Wait, hold on a
Last time I
second.
did something.
Wait, Sada, why are you saying damn it?
I'm linking something. It's just related to earlier, and I'm sad.
Oh, is it because I was right about Shin Godzilla being a good movie? I know.
No, it's that Ray Park's not going to be in Snake Eyes.
Oh.
Damn,
Oh,
you
well.
called that one. But anyway, so
It's because they're doing an origin story and they want to show his face, and they're like, we can't use Ray Park.
Wait, what? You're gonna show Snake Eye's face? That's stupid.
I mean, you can when you're talking about his origin, because like he started as a Vietnam soldier. Anyways, moving on.
all right, so Mucha, yeah, what's your thoughts on Ryusoulger?
Like the Godzilla trailer, it's very disappointing. Not just because I was hoping for dragons, but more because I'm annoyed by the drill crotch that they have, and it's gonna bug me, and their asymmetry bugs me. And I feel like this one strangles somebody because no one knows how to make shit anymore in Toei, apparently. All designs piss me off these days. I feel sad, depressed.
I
It's
think
like
you need
Harley-
to give up on Toku.
I think I need to just find a way to not talk about Harley Quinn again, because this is... Yeah, see? I don't know what it is. It just feels uninspired, just like with the trailer, just uninspired, and makes me unenthusiastic about what the show could potentially be. I mean, granted, I'd like to hear who's involved with the show first, but...
Because if we hear the words Ninja or Ghost or Zio, we just run.
Well, it can't be Zio, because Zio's working on Zio at the moment.
Oh, Ninja's working on Zio at the moment, so
So we're safe.
We might be safe.
No,
Unless
I
they're
would,
like,
I would like them to go
unified
balls.
properties. We're gonna have the same people working on both shows,
That'd be ballsy, but stupid.
and then everything loses its identity.
But yeah, I'm not really all that excited. It's certainly Sentai designs. It's very reminiscent of like Toei and Bandai being very desperate to make sure that this show sells because they
want
haven't been
money.
doing well.
Just want money.
They're desperate because Lupado's toys are not selling good. So they have to find a way. And the only way to do it is through dinosaurs. And who knows, maybe that'll work, maybe it'll be shit, or maybe, just maybe, I'll kill myself.
We all know he won't kill himself.
Yeah, I like to be a burden on the world.
Plus, if you kill yourself, then the show becomes Mike and Figma Joker in the morning.
With archive footage of Gender Joker as Figma Joker.
It'd be like the 70s Godzilla movies.
Exactly.
Until I get rebooted into a cyborg.
Alright, so, Sound Out, how should we go with this? Should you go or should Darkon go, since Darkon was the beacon of hope?
Darkon needs his beacon of hope because I'm depressed now after listening to Mucha.
Alright, so Darkon, your thoughts on the whole Ryusoulger complexity?
I'm probably one of the few who actually really like what I'm seeing. There's actually really good reasons why they're doing not just for that, especially when you really think about it. Next year's also when the next Jurassic World movie's coming out, or at least within the next couple of years, should I say. I forgot to take a break from that. But anyways, no, because of how much it is being, like, within the world as a whole, being kind of like, what's the word, exposed to dinosaurs, it's just an easier way for them to really get into this line and everything. Another thing is, because it has a lot of aspects I do like about it, and dinosaurs are actually some of my favorite animals in general. I really like how the dinosaurs look like and everything, all that. I always like it when there's another dinosaur-related production, so that's why it actually does not bother me that they're doing that. I mean, yeah, it would be nice to Dragon Knights and everything and all that, but it's still cool for what it is. The only thing I am still kind of confused about even now, and a lot of people are, is just how the changer works, rather than anything else, because they're still not clear even now, and it's kind of weird that they're still not clear about that. Like, literally every other gimmick we've seen, we kind of have an idea. The Q Thomas work with the mecha, we see, so it attaches on top of the device and everything, all that. But for this season, we still don't know how that works. We see photos, but it's not like they showing you, okay, so this connects here, what it specifically does. We still don't know any of that, so that's the part that I'm still kind of confused about. Like, Wheelchair here always makes jokes about it. I do like it. It's because of the dinosaurs aspects. That line is really cool, but they're made of extremely fragile toys, so having something that isn't fragile that has a very similar gimmick is really cool. So that's what I like about it as well. Even though, as much as I do like the T-Rex, it does remind me of that really, really terrible Grimlock toy that was released during Age of Extinction, and it kind of gives me bad vibes about that, at least, because it is very similar design. Like, both modes look very similar to that Grimlock, and that's the part that does...
You just reminded me of something, Darkon. Do you think Hasbro played a role in designing these toys?
It's very possible because apparently, well, no.
No, I don't think they would have. I think
Because
Bandai might have had
it would have been
Bandai
Bandai America originally, because when they were doing the deal with Q Ranger, there was some minor stuff going with Bandai America at the time. Hasbro wouldn't do anything personally because it's not like
They only just got the license.
Yeah,
They
it's
only
not
just
like-
got this franchise in like June.
Yeah, so it's not like they had years of kind of like back and forth kind of dealings and everything and all that since they just started. It's like they're so new to it. There really isn't not understand. We don't even know how the toys for the Beast Morphers look like, so I don't even know. Like, it's physically not known if they did anything with them because we literally do not even know how Hasbro stuff look like yet.
Plus, when it was the Bandai worked with Q Ranger, it was kind of like Bandai just gave them some notes, and they kind of like decided to go with some stuff. We learned from an interview with Greg Mitchell that it wasn't like Bandai Japan really took too much consideration of what Bandai of America said, but Bandai of America did have a hand in, you know, kind of talking about what aspects would help with the world market in terms of selling the product.
Yeah.
Well, I just asked because I know how at this point it feels like Sentai relies on Power Rangers to really keep itself afloat at this point.
I don't think it relies as much as we think it does, because Toei very much is in the mindset of, well, this is our show and we do it our way, which is very obvious because there's been several themes at this point that don't work for America, obviously, like train themes not ever going to work. What was the other show they skipped over? Ryusoulger with the cubes. Like that's stuff that's just not going to work in America as well. So it just kind of brings up the point of, well,
Well, that's
you know.
before we knew that the Sentai DVDs would be really selling that well.
Well, that's the thing, is that the Sentai DVDs popped up in 2014, I think, which was around the time of Tokyuger. But even then, Sentai's had a lot of stumblings with Ninja Ryusoulger and Lupat, where it's like, okay, well, it didn't work in Japan, and they obviously weren't thinking about how to really, like, you know, the Power Rangers side of things. I still think Toei's in the mindset of, we're going to make it, and then they'll figure out how to adapt it, or they'll just skip over or whatever. I don't think they've gotten to that point where they're thinking, they might be starting to think creatively of like, oh, what is actually going to work overseas so that, you know, Power Rangers can get to continue. And this a lot of this screams like, you know, well, dinosaurs were the last good selling Power Rangers line, let's do that again, because it's also like one of the best selling Sentai lines of recent years.
I do have two final thoughts on this. One, like a lot of people pointed out, it's not like they just copy dinosaurs for the sake of copying and all that. It seems like they are taking amalgamation and actually taking homages and cues from the previous seasons, kind of putting it in like some kind of like special representation between all the dinosaur Sentais we've gotten, because they're seeing all the elements for the previous dino seasons. So I think of it as like kind of like an anniversary thing without actually being an anniversary thing. And then my final thoughts, actually, I think that's also another reason why they probably did it, is because eventually if we start getting like nonstop dinosaur seasons every 10 seasons, it'll start becoming a pattern. Is it that much better when eventually you go like, oh, it's just another dinosaur season, it's going to happen? But by breaking the fact they're not doing the 10-year thing, I think they made it a little bit more people talking, because they didn't just do, oh, another 10 years we have a dinosaur. Now we have it earlier, so now people
I don't
talking.
think that's really the case, because I don't think they were strategically planning out every 10 years, but it felt a lot better when
I don't
they would
know.
bring
What I
back
mean is
the
that they're not
concept.
purposely doing it that way, but they must have some kind of idea that they inadvertently were doing that in the grand scheme of things. So they probably thought, you know what, we're just going to do something a little different this time, even though it is definitely very similar.
But if that's the case, like, because of next year being 2019, they should have just done samurais again.
I'm just happy they didn't do ninjas again, because oh my gosh.
No, because if you think about it, Ninja can't be done too soon because it was almost a decade after Hurricaneger. So
But
if
here's the thing
anything, it
too,
was Samurai.
Ninja sold like crap, so they're not going to want to revisit ninjas anytime soon. Where they
Yeah.
do want to revisit dinosaurs because it sold,
Kyoryuger
Well,
sold well. Yeah.
Kyoryuger sold well, Kyoryuger Brave sold well, Dino Charge sold well. Like that is a Sentai, you know, concept, and the dinosaur premise has seemed to have been a complete seller across 3 different markets, and it's like the highest selling stuff from each of those
But don't
countries.
forget, not just with Kyoryuger, but it happened. You know, it's one of those things where it's kind of like lightning in a bottle. Like anytime they do a dinosaur team, they've usually done fairly decent. Like with Jew Ranger, it didn't strike right away. Like, people liked the toys, but they didn't like the show. But then it comes to America, it comes to other countries as Power Rangers.
Well,
It
kids
worked.
like the show.
Yeah,
To be
and then it was like and then like Abba Ranger happened. Abba Ranger's toys actually were fairly good in Japan. They were good in America.
it outsold Spies, and if you want to know Japanese like reception, that's pretty big considering how popular Fies is.
Wait, what? How does Fies
It
have to help
outsold
with Abba
Fies.
Ranger?
What?
How does Fies help with Abba Ranger?
No, I'm just telling you how big it was. You were saying like how big the toy sales for Abba Ranger were. And I said it outsold Fies.
Oh, it outsold Fies. Okay, I didn't hear that part. I just kept hearing Fies. I'm like, what the fuck are you saying Fies, man?
Because I like the show.
I was gonna say because you like shouting Fies a lot.
No, it's because I think I believe it outsold Fies, and in Japan, Fies is really, really popular.
Yeah.
So what does that say
it's
about
crazy.
Abba Ranger?
You
In
know,
America, Fies is only popular with some weebs. So
Or smart people.
I'm talking about you.
That's why I said our smart people.
Yeah,
Here-
I wasn't.
here-
I
here
wasn't.
we-
I didn't. I
here
didn't
we
say
go again.
smart people.
I know, because you wouldn't know what a smart person is.
Oh God.
Smart
I can-
people watch Showa
Oh God.
because they know what quality is.
Guys,
I like Showa.
guys,
I didn't say anything about
guys,
the Showa era.
save the war for Mike and Mike. Save it for the steel cage match.
Harley
There's no
Quinn
like it,
killed
like it.
Wally West with a bat.
God damn it! They're already starting now. It's like the pre-match promo where they're just shit talking each other, and then ding ding ding, Mike and Mike begins. All hell breaks loose. But
Oh, God.
but okay, so Darkon finished what he was saying about Ryusoulger. Sound out your emphasis on Ryusoulger, because like Yumi and Mucha seem to be more of the standard. I'm more in the middle with Darkon, but I'm still also, like I said, but I'll get to it when I get to it. But sound out, you go.
I give up on Super Sentai. I'm kidding. I don't. No, legitimately speaking, I don't know how I feel. I don't hate things. I don't love things. I'm kind of stuck in the middle where I'm like, For example, I like the night theme, but I don't like the dinosaur theme. I like the changer because it looks like it's going to be a standalone device where only one dino soul is used for all their transformations, since looking at the closer pictures of the suits, they don't have different colored dino souls. Is that what they're called?
Ryusouls.
Anyways, the Ryu souls aren't different colors in the braces on the close-up images of the suits, which says to me it's going to be one Henshin soul that's used for, like, kind of like Go-Onger, where like they had like the same colored soul no matter who you were.
I also believe that all the team members have like this power up to let them have access to like their weapons or something.
Yeah, and so like their power up, they each have a different soul because they're in the Soul 3 packs that are coming out. And they get like an extra armor thing, which is kind of like the armed Anon from Kyoryuger, but it looks better because it gives them the knight armor look, basically. So I like that aspect of it because it seems like this changer might be a one and done, which would be nice considering we've had too many like gimmick heavy ones. They do those every once in a while, like Ryusoulger. Ryusoulger had one and done changers. Nice to see the belt toy back. We haven't had one of those since Ninja, I think.
Q Ranger.
Oh yeah, Q Ranger did have a belt. I forgot about that. It didn't come with anything important. Anyways, so yeah, Lupat didn't have a belt, which I thought was sad because they actually used the belt a lot in the show, with the belt buckle. So, but anyways, I think that, you know, it's nice to see the belt come back. I do like how the sword stores in the belt. The thing I don't like is the gender ratio. I still think that I thought that Lupat kind of proved that two really strong female characters is going to bring in the TV ratings like nobody's business because, and I don't know if it's just Idol character, like an Idol actress did it, but I think it was a combination of, Umika being a former Morning Natsume member, and then also Tsukasa being like a really strong character too. I think that brought in a huge chunk of audience members that weren't there before because the ratings were so significantly better than Q Ranger to the point where it was beating out Kamen Rider, and I think it still is. Like it essentially topped Kamen Rider for what is was 2 seasons at this point. So I think that cutting back to one female character on the main team is kind of a misstep. We'll see how it works. If that character, if Pink is really, really strong, you know, it's probably not going to be as much of an issue. I mean, Q Ranger worked off one female character and some lifeless robot that didn't do anything. So it can work. Talking about Mecha, I'm glad to see that we're not doing arm swaps again because I'm getting tired of those. They just do them way too often. And it always just kind of feels like the lazy method of, oh, yeah, no, you just swap the arms. And
It's because the power animal
gimmick is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Power Animal did it right though, because they at least gave you extra torsos, extra legs. It wasn't just
Right.
arms.
It like evened out in the end. But yet, Lupat is gonna I don't know how bad it is because I haven't gotten everything on account of money, but it's just like I got
Blue Pat
everything.
toys aren't all that impressive, I'll say.
They aren't, and I think that it's just kind of nuts because it's like there's like 2 torsos for Lupat, and there's all these VS vehicles. So that means when you go to like have a collection, it's like you just got all these loose vehicles, and I dislike that so much. That is like my least favorite mecha lines for Sentai are the ones where you just end up with a pile of extra stuff at the end.
At least it ain't Gokaiger or the absolute worst Ghost Sager.
Yeah, Ghost Sager's pretty bad. Gokaiger's pretty bad. At least with like Magi Ranger, you could make like 5 mecha, like none of them combined, but it's like 5, things. You don't have like random stuff hanging around. And Geki Ranger, you can kind of cheat it because of the way the combination works of the Stampede formation, is that you can just kind of stick everything around it. It's like, oh, look, it's a Stampede. But, it's just those kind of seasons I don't like. I see Ryusoulger going the same way. Because even though it's not doing arm swaps, it's doing this armor thing. And yes, 1, 2, and 3, so like red, blue, and pink, can get like one mecha combination. But then with green and black, you either get green's armor or black's armor. And whatever the 6th mecha will be, I don't think it's going to combine all 6 together because they haven't been great at combinations lately. So I like the idea of the gimmick in concept where it's got the armor to it, and I think it looks cool, and I do like the T-Rex a lot. I think that the individual other mecha, the black, the blue, and the pink don't look that great on their own. I think green looks okay. And the armor modes look kind of neat, but again, I don't like the pick and choose style of Sentai Mecha because it's kind of an easy out, I feel, in terms of design. I miss the days of Shinkenger Go-Onger where you have mecha that have every single part included in a giant combination at the end, because then it kind of gives you a reason to buy everything. Whereas with the pick and choose method, I could pick and choose which ones I want to buy. So, there may be a thing to that where like, oh, well, we don't want to make people have to go crazy buying all this mecha. But then again, it's like, yeah, but you do that with Kamen Rider stuff. So that's just kind of my thing is that, if at the end of this we get a giant combo, that'd be great because we haven't had a big ass combo to hold a majority of the mecha since Ryusoulger, and that still left out 4 extra weapons and an octopus. So, it got close, but it's the kind of stuff that I want to see more of. Heck, even Ninja left off lets you choose a mecha for the center of its combo, and I don't know. I'm just not a fan of the trend. I think that we're getting better looking base robos, like for like the main mecha, in a way, like you get a better look there. But then it's just like as you go on, it's like, well, why do I even bother with these auxiliary vehicles if they are just going to sit off to the side in the end? And to have pointless mecha is going to make it feel like.
Well, I think that might require just how the show integrates its toys, because just making them look cool is enough to get people to buy them.
Right, but it's kind of a thing where I think that like the Sentai method of each mecha is an important part of this combination that you can put together when you have everything is a great motivator for people to want to collect them all. But when you give it like here's a dozen vehicles that don't combine with anything, then it's like, well, why should I even buy them? Like, maybe I'll just get like scissors and I don't need to get the Siren Striker because I'm getting the Victory Striker and I want to make that combo. I think that part of the reason why Sentai toy sales have been down in the recent years, I think can attribute it to the mecha and the mecha.
Oh, it's 100% the mecha.
Yeah, because like the mecha is a Sentai line. Like Sentai gimmicks, as cool as they may be, like as popular as Jugenshi and Ranger Keys were, like, the mecha still outsold them. Like the mecha cost more, et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that I think the reason why Lupat toy sales were down was because the only major combo was the ugliest thing to ever exist. And the integration of the changers using the same vehicles as the mecha was something that people didn't like. And then also the fact that majority of the VS vehicles were pointless. Like you just didn't get anything out of them besides an arm swap or something like that. And I think that if you're looking at toy sales, Q Rangers toy sales dipped after Ryutei Kirano, when it turned out that Gigant Ho-Oh's combo with everything was just, it's Gigant Ho-Oh plus Shishi Voyager and all the Q-Tama. And then when Orion Battler didn't combine with anything besides making a big-ass cannon no one has room for, I think that's why Q Rangers sales dipped off in the second half.
I think another reason I saw on Twitter, which I think could be accurate, is that what kids want in their mecha nowadays is more agility and more articulation in the figure. And
that makes sense too, yeah.
And the Sentai mecha of late have been, the same old kind of boxy kind of thing.
And I think the lack of playability is a big thing, because they don't have the articulation. It wasn't a problem before because, these 12, engines from Go-Onger don't have much articulation when they're combined, but you can put together this giant combo when you have them all. So if you're not going to have big combos, up the articulation. If you're not going to up the articulation, have big combos. Give kids a reason why they should have these toys, aside from just a simple, and also make some complexity to it if it's not going to be articulated. Because, Go Busters had some plastic quality issues, but those were very complex mecha, and those sold fairly well. So I think that...
And I wonder if the armor is a result of Build Fighters. Because hasn't Build Fighters been relatively successful?
Oh, yeah. That's the thing, too, is that Gundam's been outselling, everybody in terms of model kits. And I think it's also been outselling Sentai for that same reason. There also is the...
Maybe Toei or Bandai want to have that going for them with their Sentai now.
I mean, Super Mini-Pla and Mini-Pla stuff has been, getting more articulated over the years.
And on top of that, it's now being more internationally accepted. Like, originally on forums, people used to not like Mini-Pla. And now they're like, oh man, I love Mini-Pla now. I love these small...
Well, it's because Mini-Pla used to kind of suck because the plastic quality was incredibly cheap.
Well, no, I mean,
and the
even when it was
actually...
Even when it was still improving back then, a lot of people still, looked down on Mini-Pla. I'm talking about, at least Shinkenger. Shinkenger, yeah, it still wasn't the greatest, but it was still a vast improvement over a variety of the previous years.
Oh, yeah, but, you look at, I look at something like Shinkenger, my Shinkenger stuff, and I look at something like my,
don't use the live robo. Don't use Super Mini-Pla because that's...
I was gonna say, Shinkenger to Go Busters was a big upgrade.
Those Go Buster Mini-Pla were garbage, though.
That's the thing, is that even then it was that was a big upgrade, but yet still kind of sucked. But now it's
the Q Ranger shit was fucking fabulous.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that stuff got so good now that they're basically a set of 5 Mini-Pla is essentially the equivalency of a large high grade for Gundam. That's the quality we're at now. Super Mini-Pla are just
fucking
Super
wonderful.
Mini-Pla are fantastic.
Because I've been kind of feeling that Sentai of late really needs to change up how they do mech.
I think it's like they're scared to because they've done the same style for so long.
Yeah. And
the thing is that, yeah, personally speaking, I do like the boxy style because that's the style that everything else is in that I have. But, if they just went for articulation, I'm okay with it because, if you're not going to make these big ass combos, you don't need the stability that's the big ass combos require. You can't load up Ingeno with a bunch of joints because when you go to combine him into G12, he's just going to fall over because he can't support the weight. So, but now that we're going away from not doing these big combos, I don't see any reason why we shouldn't have more articulation. It's possible. Sure, a Kenjin has the best leg joints of any Sentai mecha to ever exist. So, Bandai needs to pick and choose. Are they going to go for articulation or are they going to go for combination? Because just kind of doing neither isn't helping anything.
Because, if you look at Lupido, lately they've been using CGI, a lot of it to kind of make their combo, or whatever it's called, the Kaiser Lupido, whatever.
The VSX Good Striker, it's only been used a handful of times, and every time it's been...
what was it, 3 or 4?
Only been used 3 or 4 times because it requires both teams to work together, and that's a really difficult task. But yeah, it's you have this, combination that they don't even make a physical suit for because A, it ain't used that much, and B, it couldn't move with a physical suit. It has to be...
So I'm thinking that the reason they're using so much CGI though for it is because they want to make it look like it's agile and fun to play with.
Right, because like what is the most popular robots in Japan right now? Gundam. What are Gundams?
The trains, whatever they're called. I forget what they're called.
Shinkalion's also really popular. Both of those are very agile robots. Like they, you know, Sentai does have this one constriction that does hold it back when you compare it to Gundam in Shinkalion, which is Sentai's live action. Sentai has to work its mecha into reality because they can't reasonably do CG for every single mecha fight. It'll make them bankrupt if they went to 25 episode series. That's a side point, but
they really need to have the mecha suit slimmed down a bit.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, even Lupin Kaiser's toy is slimmer than the mecha, like the actual suit.
Yeah, because I was thinking that they should make their suits kind of like more, not exactly like an Ultraman suit, but kind of very similar. Like, still keep like the mecha aesthetic to it, but do it that you can have your suit actor be able to perform stunts in the suit like they did in like the 90s.
You want it to be more like Geki TaJa or more like the lightning version of Senpujin.
Something that's just more flexible to use for the suit actor when it comes to combat.
Something like instead of Geki TaJa and Senpujin lightning form being the exceptions to the rule, we want it to be the standard.
Something like that, or at least attempt to do something like that for one season and see how that works out toy-wise or sales-wise.
Yeah, I think that Lupat and Kyuranger were very experimental, and Ryusoulger is definitely the we need money series.
Yeah, we're desperate.
They're kind of desperate right now. They're like, okay, well, our ratings are doing good, so let's try to bump up the toys by going back to dinosaurs. I just hope that in Japan, the same reception of, oh no, dinosaurs again, isn't the same reception there. That it's like, oh, sweet, dinosaurs is kind of like how it gets received, and not that, oh, we're tired of dinosaurs that, you know, we're talking about here.
Yeah, no, it's funny because like I'm not entirely tired. I'm just like slightly disappointed because I just feel like it won't seem as fresh if you don't give it a wide chance and time. You know, if you don't split the series up a bit, it's gonna be like, oh man, this soon kind of aspect. Because it's like with other Sentai teams, there's at least a variety where it doesn't just feel consistent. It doesn't feel, like, oh,
I mean, we've gotten a ton of animal Sentai, but they're always broken up by like 5 years at least.
They're either broken up by 5 years, or it's like, oh, these type of animals are Earth-based, or these type of animals are, mythical-based, Like, at least there's some chance of, like, splitting it up, because you went from Dai Ranger, which was ancient Chinese zodiac, to, Kaku Ranger being humanoid war generals that also had animal forms in the later half, It was like they at least broke up a bit,
Yeah, it kind of gave it still kept it with having some variety. Whereas the way they are now, it's like, okay, well, and the thing is, too, when we think about the animal Sentai, they all have different color combinations. I think making this the same color and gender ratio kind of makes it feel like it's just trying to be Kyoryuger. I'm just glad
that is frightening.
If they had a gun changer, that would just be, I think, the step too far.
And they do a dance.
Apparently, the Ryuso changer plays music, so.
Okay,
well, that's all changers do that. Come on, to be fair.
I mean, they do now.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Ever since Kyoryuger, they do.
Yeah. So that's
no, like it's just one of the things where I'm not like I'm just a little disappointed, but I'm not like too angry at it because it's like it could actually turn out to be good. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like the aesthetic and the designs I like, but it's just like I feel like it's just so soon, and I'm like I feel like maybe I'm a little
dragons,
dinosaur.
Man. I wanted dragons.
I don't think it was the hype that killed it for me. It's like it's not like, oh no, it's not dragons, because I'm like dinosaurs, dragons, they still rock. But for me, it's just like we had a lot of dinosaurs due to the Dino Charge.
I think it's just more how similar it looks to Kyuranger or Kyoryuger. That's the thing that just kind of goes like, I don't really care about that. This feels uninspired.
I just feel like I've been in the Sentai world too long now, and so like I really enjoy the shows that are fresh ideas. Whereas when they do kind of more safe bets, I'm like, argh. But like it's like, I'm trying not to be a grumpy old man, but it happens. Yeah, no, it's just I'm looking forward to the series still. I'm just not like super hyped like I was for Lupat or Kyuranger or Ryusoulger even. Like,
I'm not hype level would be increased if they hear who's involved. Like, say for some reason they get Sakamoto.
Yeah, or they get like Keita Mamiya suddenly, and we're like, oh no, what happened to Garo? And he's like, I need a break because Jingas suck. That's a podcast for another day.
On Mike and Mike in the morning.
We can talk about how Jinga is a massive disappointment, even more so than Ryusoulger.
Holy shit.
But yeah, I think in conclusion, I'm mid-ground to the point where I don't know how I feel. I just want to see the show. I can barely afford the toys, so I don't really care about the toys as much.
Yeah, no, I like it's one of those things where I'm more in a sense I understand Darkon's idea, but I'm also like there's my mindset of it's just too soon. It's just too soon. For me, it's
I think Mucha, Wheelz, and I all have a hang-up. I think my biggest hang-up is not necessarily theme or dragon part. It's the gender ratio. I think the gender ratio is probably my biggest hang-up.
My biggest hang up is that it's like making those weirdos in the Tokusatsu community who are like, oh, this means Sentai needs to die, and I'm like, Sentai is the stronger one.
It's the stronger franchise. Like, and right now, ratings wise, Sentai is definitely the stronger franchise. So they're not going to kill off Sentai right now, but they're definitely going to boost the toy side because I think the show is doing fine with Lupat. It's just the toys were faltering, so they're trying to do something to get the toys up.
You know how you get the show and the toys to sell? Put Inoue involved. Put fucking Inoue. Just get Inoue.
I mean,
I think Inoue's done.
I think the biggest thing is that if the show has strong female characters, they get, it's like the old thing with like Cartoon Network canceled Young Justice because they had a female audience show up for the show and females don't buy products, so they're like, oh, we don't want to do that. The thing is, if the toys are good and you have strong female characters, it doesn't matter if females buy the products because the toys will sell on their own, and then the females are watching the show, so that way you have a successful show and a successful toy line.
I think we killed Darkon, by the way.
It's probably just late at night.
I just don't know if Darkon has much to say in this subject because we're just being grumpy old men. He's just like,
no, I don't think it's that it's grumpy old men. I think the difference is that like there's the thing is like still Darkon's still like a fresh puppy too in a sense. It's like he's only seen since like Shinkenger to now, and he's gone back and started to watch a few. Like he's watched at least 5 or 7 pre Shinkenger stuff or like 10 or whatever. But it's like we have this depth of having seen several shows. We've watched several shows. We kind of know the issue with like marketing, issue with standpoints and other stuff. It's more a lens of like what we see, how we see it, kind of thing of like the whole.
We're analyzing things really closely as opposed to just kind of enjoying it for what it is.
But that's the thing. It's like if you really care about something, though, sometimes you're gonna get analytical.
Yeah, I mean, I get analytical about like everything I care about. It's just what I do because I'm like, okay, if something that I love isn't doing well, I want to know why.
Exactly. Like that's the thing is like. I think the thing is, I don't necessarily hate Ryusoulger. I just think it's just too soon. It's just too soon. I feel like because we had Dino Charge, we had Dino. Like I think for Americans, it's too soon because
Japan might be a little bit like less because the last big thing they had was Kyoryuger Brave, which was just like essentially just a web series. So I think that it's too soon for us because we've just had so much dinosaur lately, and I don't know. Like, again, I think my biggest hang-up is the gender thing.
It's probably the gender
I think I'm just
ratio.
bothered by how uninspired it is. That's all.
It is like a greatest hits collection of past Sentai stuff.
Like, it feels so Kyoryuger that it's kind of like, why do I have to watch this when I can just watch Kyoryuger?
Like, the plot description sounds cool.
Sounds like Gingaman.
It sounds like Gingaman, but, I'm here for the night theme a lot because I really wanted a night Sentai. And I got one.
I just want this to be like the kindling spark that makes Bandai go, hey, let's re-release Dinosaurs again. Let's make Dinosaurs a sequel. And everyone's gonna be like, no one remembers that anime. And then there's me and Darkon going, but we remember.
Wham bam.
It's the Dino Jam.
Yeah, I think we should just kind of close it there.
All right, so
maybe they'll hire another pop idol for the female ranger, and then.
Man, I can't believe they got back Riku Sanja to write the series. That's cool on them.
Yeah.
So yeah, anyways, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode this week. Anyways, you've been listening to episode 70 of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. I was your host, Wheelchair21, and I was joined yet again by Sound Out.
Depression and depression in the morning.
I was also joined by Mucha.
Depression in the morning.
And then also Darkon. Darkon, if you want to, just promote yourself anyway, which way? If you have anything you want to shill.
Positive in the morning, unlike everyone else here.
All right.
Listen,
and so,
we made Darkon depressed. Look what we've done. We're horrible people.
I really don't think it was that we made him depressed. It was just like, I think like the difference is like I agreed with Darkon more. but I'm in the middle. I feel really in the middle. Like I agree with Darkon. I agreed with both of you guys. Like the thing is, I'm very, like I said, it all depends on what happens when it gets here. Like when it finally gets here,
Heck,
I'll
we're
have a better
technically
understanding.
Not even supposed to see any of this. It's not officially released to the public in Japan.
Exactly. Like it's not official, but still, like I right now I'm borderline because I'm like I'm hyped, but I'm like, ugh. It's like I'm on the fence. I'm on the fence. and I
Black
just
should
need
have
to
been
figure out where I'm
female.
going. God, here we go again. This is gonna get Twitter and Tumblr raging, but Tumblr is gonna be dead soon anyways.
I don't know what this has to do with Oga's type of women, but sure. Go black
I don't know,
women.
Anyway,
It's annoying that the only female Black Ranger that we have is from Hyperforce. Like, much like Hyperforce, get one in an actual show. Come on.
all right. So, anyways, this has been episode 70, and we'll see you all next week with a brand new episode of Los Ingobernables de
We all
Tokusatsu.
kill ourselves first.
We have to have our fight to the death, though.
That's in depression in the morning.
All right.
Hey, it's Wheelchair21, and thanks again for listening to an all-new episode of Los Ingobernables de Tokusatsu. If you want to hear more content or see more content from the Hero Club YouTube channel, we're going to need you to subscribe, like, comment with some feedback, and share this channel with a friend. We also would like you to check out our website, hero-club.com, and follow us on various social media outlets just by looking up Hero Club for Life, as well as the stores you see are where we shop. Anyways, thanks again, and we'll see you all next time.